ever eaten moldy chocolate?
The tardigrade?
I'm Jasmin.
Swear on Satan, I'll do that. That's my headcanon.
Okay, into it, all of it. I'm Mells. I love it. Dumb.
Wait a minute.
And if you're watching TV,
I love it.
Make sure it's damn fine TV.
This is amazing.
That was awesome. Oh my god. Okay.
Wondering why blackmailers can't be more prompt and respectful of people's time? I'm Jay.
And meeting Cindy Crawford at the meat shack later, I'm Mells.
Welcome to Damn Fine TV's Yellowjackets rewatch.
This week we're covering Season 1, Episode 7. Now let's buzz.
Buzz, babe.
Buzz, baby. Yeah.
Ooh, Episode 7.
Oh my.
I did want to say one thing from Episode 6 that I feel like we maybe didn't leave out, but it just occurred to me as I was watching back to get some timestamps or whatever. But I really appreciated the fact that the show, so the attempted abortion scene, I guess it didn't really occur to me in the moment that Shauna decides to stop because she wants to live.
Yeah.
Her choice is that she wants to live, not because she doesn't want to hurt the baby. It had nothing to do with that. And I guess in my mind that felt so obvious because I was like, yeah, I don't give a shit about this unborn baby, this sack of cells. I care about Shauna. But I really appreciated that the show made that super clear and was like, this poor girl wants to live and that's her choice. So wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's extra poignant for today as well because there's not a lot of protection for the person carrying the child.
Exactly.
Versus the child. So, yeah, for sure.
Anyways, just wanted to give props to the show. Just another reason that I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Are we ready
7?
Episode 7, yes. Episode 7 is called No Compass. So back in 96, Ty leads some of the Yellowjackets off into the woods in search of salvation. But what they find is blood rivers and hungry wolves. In the present day, Ty, Shauna, and Natalie spend some quality time together in the only way they could, drinking gas station liquor and chasing a blackmailer. Meanwhile, Misty manages to get some dirt on Travis's death from the still captive Jessica.
I don't know why, but I want to call her Jessica Rabbit, even though she's not anything like Jessica Rabbit, but I think her last name is Roberts.
Yeah.
So every time I hear her name, I just think about Jessica Rabbit. I don't know.
Well, she's poor little thing is also like a little rabbit to Misty right now too. So there is that.
Good point. Yes. So I thought this was a really fun episode. Very exciting. I think this is the thing that part of what we'd been waiting for and talked about in the last episode of this chase scene with the glitter and everything. I mean, that was just so much fun. I sort of remember, I feel like I remembered it being much longer.
Yeah.
It was kind of over before, it left me wanting more in a great way, but yeah, exciting episode. I am really noticing that on this watch, I feel much differently about so many of the characters. And I think I've already mentioned this, with Jackie and Jeff, but it continues to kind of come to me as we're watching through. And I'm like, how did I feel this way before? And I feel so much differently now. So loving the rewatch for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel the same way. I mean, this was a much anticipated episode for me. We talked about it last week. We couldn't wait to get to this. Obviously, in my mind, though, it was going much different, meaning what we're going to get in the next episode, I thought was revealed somewhat in this episode. Yes. So, again, also, like you're saying, definitely leaves me wanting more in a good way. You just can't wait to get to the next episode. It was fun. I loved the juxtaposition or between the quality time or the setting out and kind of trying to find things from Ty's perspective back in 96 and then what role she plays in this whole quality time, but the present day, when they're trying to find the blackmailer, it's very telling. There was obviously a shift between, I don't want to say her role, because I still feel like she obviously wants to find out who this person is, but she just wasn't so front and center. It was more Natalie this time, so I appreciated that. Yeah, I felt like this episode went by so quick. Like,
Yeah.
when I pressed play, it was already, I felt like, the end of the episode, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like,
Yeah, it was really fast-paced and exciting. Like, I feel like a lot happens in this episode, but it's coming at you pretty quickly.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But this is one of my favorite, episodes
I
in
think
the
so
season.
too. I think so too, just because we do get so much, and all of it is like, I mean, I guess that's a thing of knowing where this is all going, but having the bigger picture, it's like, "Oh, this is all so good, all these little details that we're getting." Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So,
Okay, well, let's talk about Ty. Both that opening scene and her whole like search party in 1996. But we got to talk about this opening scene because
yeah.
I did some Googling, and I would not recommend that you do the same Googling as me, because what I Googled was dog bite and then dog bite versus human bite. And there are some absolutely disgusting photos on the internet of what dog bites and human bites are and how infected they can get. Anyways,
No.
don't Google it. I don't recommend
No.
it. But listen, I did the research for us, okay?
You took one for the team. Okay.
Thank you. And I am here to tell you that is a human bite and not a dog bite on Ty's hand. 100%. I did some
Well,
close-ups. I zoomed in, enhance. It's definitely a human bite. And I'm wondering, could it be Sammy?
woo, woo. I've got chili bumps all over. Okay, but see, you saying that though, because I think I was trying to form in, maybe last episode or one of the episodes where we're talking about Sammy. Like, does he suffer from, I don't, here's another thing. Like, I don't know who Sammy's parents are. And what I mean by that is, I mean, did they take one of Ty's eggs? Did they take one of Simone's? Or like, how did this go with Sammy? But like, is this something possibly genetic or like a supernatural genetic type thing that also inflicts Sammy like it does Ty? So I don't know. Or was Sammy trying to protect himself from her? I don't, but it's just
because I think this is like the bad one that he
this is
talked
definitely
about
the bad
before,
one.
right? So maybe
This
he
is the woman
was,
in the tree.
yeah, I think maybe he was trying to protect himself somehow, because even like where the bite mark is, like I feel like you can't really bite yourself and make it like have such an indent. The dog they have is way too tiny for it to be like that sort of wide around, and even like the indents look much more like human teeth. But I think there is something about Sammy trying to protect himself, yeah, or like maybe like wake his mom up or something.
My mind's going in so many directions because there's that, but is there also I mean, yeah.
I mean, you
I'm
can.
what I'm trying to figure out in my mind, and that's why, it's like the scientific method, right? You've got your hypothesis. Now we need to test. So I don't know. Like, I better watch it before I draw blood. But like, yeah, there's a lot too around Ty not eating meat. There's a lot about Ty, and I don't know if we want to. I guess we could just talk about Ty, because we're gonna just. What I want to say about her is, and I'm not talking about Twilight vibes here, okay? Where the hell you been, Loca? I'm not talking about that. But like, is she somehow connected to wolves in some way? Like supernaturally, because she sees the wolf at the party or like on the street or whatever, and then like there's obviously the wolf attack here, but like she doesn't eat meat, so like is she eating herself? I don't know. I don't know.
I totally never even put those two things together. Yeah, I
It
really
honestly,
like that.
it honestly didn't. I did not have any of these thoughts until, well, you told me that looks like a human bite, but also because of everything centered around wolves, and I'm looking at the wolf
Mhm.
attack very differently this time around than I did the first time.
Ugh, I am dying to know more about Ty
I
because
know.
this conversation that her and Van have when they've like set off, as the search party or whatever, Van says, you get so serious about this stuff when, like, referring to them talking about the bone that Lottie has given Van or the fact that Lottie predicted prom queen and all that stuff. Like, and Ty does get really serious about that stuff. Why?
I know.
What happened with her grandmother or what else happened in her childhood to make her this way? I think this is one of the most fascinating things about the show that I am so excited to learn more about in season 2.
Agreed.
It's such a
Uh,
big mystery.
yeah.
And like
Yes.
this means that Ty has been this way around at least Van for a while. Like this is an established thing about her personality
Oh my gosh.
that she's
Yeah.
like so averse to it.
And gosh, yeah. I, it makes me think so many things because I've tried to peel away like what is Ty doing? Like when we talked about this with we when we did our live with Abby and Coral, and I
Mhm.
talked about, I know that pica it is a real thing where you eat things that you're not supposed to. Pregnant women are very susceptible to it, but also it could be trauma induced where, and we've seen her eating dirt. Obviously
Yeah.
she's got dirt in her teeth in this
Mhm.
opening scene, so she's been
She got
doing
a
that
lot
same
of it.
thing, yeah, as an
Mhm.
adult. um you know and it is mainly like minerally type substances. Like
Yeah.
they specifically want to know if you're having cravings for rocks, which when I was pregnant and I got asked, like, are you having any weird cravings for things that are not food? I was like, no. But my doctor
Mhm.
was like, you know, this happens to people. And she's like, and it's cravings for things like dirt, gravel, so like rocks,
Because you're so
chalk.
low in certain
Yes.
minerals? Yeah.
Or, or,
Wow.
or yeah, but so I guess that's the pregnancy aspect. But then with the trauma
Mhm.
thing, but I was trying so hard to use that logic in
Mhm.
trying to peel back what's going on with Ty, that this time around I'm like, no. What if it is something like, we say that somebody Lottie might have the shine. I mean, what
Mhm.
if Ty is just like from a some type of heritage of a wolf type thing? I don't know, but it's leading me down a lot of paths,
I
I
mean,
guess
I
I
like it because I'm thinking about my dog right now who, I mean, every dog food commercial wants to tell me that she is an ancestor of a wolf, and she loves to eat dirt.
that's their
That's
number one
probably her favorite snack.
that's that no, honey, that's like a full course meal right there. It's
So,
like dirt from this part of the yard and then dirt from the other part of the yard. There's your
take me to
appetizer
the
and your
park
main course.
because I want that special dish.
All that special dirt that
Yeah.
people been walking all over. Yeah.
Dog's been shitting and pissing all over all day. I want that. Let's go.
That's the hors d'oeuvres I'm looking for. Okay. No, but
So,
I mean,
I'm
I don't
liking this.
know.
I'm
This
liking this.
Yeah, because I know that she was having an episode, obviously, when the wolf attacks were happening.
Mhm.
Um,
And something within her told her to grab the flare gun and to grab that necklace. Now, she might have had the flare gun with her since she was keeping watch. Maybe that's a thing that they keep with them if they're going to be the person that's staying up and, doing the watch or whatever, but the necklace. Like, and I suppose irritating isn't the right word, but like there's something frustrating about the fact that Ty is still so resistant
mhm,
to whatever is happening, even though she knows she found herself up in a fucking tree with that necklace on when she
yeah.
was supposed to be watching over these other girls. So like, I mean,
Uh,
I guess she could chalk it up to sleepwalking, but that's some pretty intense sleepwalking.
I mean, yeah, and I think that's what makes this. I mean, honestly, I think this is what makes this super fascinating. Is that definitely could be the supernatural element, but there's so many logistical things that could like explain it away. I think more for young Ty than for adult Ty. Now, when we get to adult Ty, I'm like, what is it now still, because I mean, I know you're running a campaign. I know you've got a blackmailer after you. I know you're getting these postcards. Like, all of this is stress. I get it. But you survived a plane crash. So it just, like,
Mhm.
not to say one trauma is bigger or one stressful situation is bigger than the other, but it just feels like she could maybe have more of a handle on knowing when these triggers might happen for her
Oh,
if
yes,
she
good
weren't
point.
so
Mhm.
resistant
Yes.
to accepting it. Because
Mhm.
also the whole scene of her cleansing herself, dressing her wound, I mean, everything. I was like, she's been doing this, and she's I think that she's surprised out of it by the text, but I don't think that it's a surprise that she's doing it. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
there's something in her sadness that's like, "Why is this happening
why
again?"
does
Like,
this keep
oh,
happening? Yeah,
yes. Yeah, that's
exactly.
kind of what I read as well. But
Yeah. Um One thing she said, though, that I have to, like, obviously you don't know this is foreshadowing the first time you watch something because you don't know the end result.
sure.
I could not get over her telling all of the girls dying feels like falling asleep.
Mhm.
And I was like, Jackie,
I know.
Jackie.
There's another line later too that I thought was really nice foreshadowing or just, like, playful wording, and I'll bring it up when we get there, but this
Yeah.
episode had a couple of those, yeah.
Yes,
Poor
yes.
sweet Jackie. And
I
she
know.
also at the beginning of that, she says, like, "This is the only food that we've seen in weeks."
Yeah.
So, it's definitely getting on in time that they've been there because if the previous deer that they found was weeks ago, to me, weeks is like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Could be
Eh,
2, but
yeah.
yeah. So question, they're having this whole debate about whether or not people should leave and look for a road, a town, anything, or if they should just stay put. What do you think you would do?
Well, honey, okay, I'm glad you posed this because the first time I thought
I'll
about
pose
this,
it.
pose it,
I can pose it.
Vogue, yes, um, is when I was wondering if I would have even left the plane crash, right?
Mhm.
So I said I would have never left it. You would have caught me in the creepy ass cabin. Now let's get to this point where I would be in that creepy ass cabin. You would not catch me. I have no survivor skills. I'm here to tell everybody this. I'm glad you've asked this because I've been reading a lot of books, a lot of different kind of books, like what some of them about like getting lost in the woods, like that's the main plot line,
Okay.
or like watching this, and I'm like, how do people just fucking know where they're going? I
Right.
have a GPS, and I still am like, oh shit, I missed the rest.
Like Betty Gilpin in The Hunt when she
Yeah,
just immediately knows how to make that thing out of grass and water and be like, "All right, that's north."
exactly. Like, every time I come across this, I'm like, this is so frustrating to me because I'm like, I don't fucking know what the North Star looks like. I don't know the sun's on this side, so that means south is this way. Like, so knowing all this about myself, you better believe I would be in that cabin and I would be hanging out with whatever ghosts are like at this point I would fuck with the ghosts. I'd be like, you know what? I low key fuck with you. Just leave me alone. Okay. No, you wouldn't catch me out in those woods because
Yeah.
I would be dead. I would be dead.
I don't think I would leave either, but I wouldn't be one of the girls that was like, "Well, you can't take our supplies." I'd be
I
like,
definitely
"These
wouldn't have
people
done
are
that.
willing to go and look for something for us. Let's figure out how to give them some supplies." Because yes, there is a risk that they're not coming back and then we lose all of this stuff, but that also means that we lose our friends and kind of any hope of being rescued. So,
Yeah.
why don't we work together on this?
I mean, I definitely wouldn't be bitchy about it. I'd be like, take
Mhm.
all that you I mean, honestly, take what you need.
I mean, we have
Get us
this
out of
base
here.
camp where we can continue to go and look for things and come back and have shelter. I mean, I don't know. I
Right.
was thinking, like, is it easier for them to go on day trips or like overnight trips to like search for something? But I guess that's a lot to keep going back and forth and back and forth. So I don't
Yeah.
know. But
Well, I don't know if you would get very like, yeah, you would
how far
probably
would you get? But I mean, you could go out for a week and maybe come back. I don't know. But
I know.
like, at least so that they would know that you're alive and you could say, well, we went this way. This is what we found. I don't know. It's a tough situation, but yeah, I'd be like, please go out and look for us, but I'm not going.
And also, like, when they were at the River of
Mhm.
Blood, when she
Mhm.
was like, "Y'all can go back," I would have been like, "What the fuck? I don't know how to get back." Like,
Yeah.
these
That's
are
what
the
I was
things in my
thinking
mind.
too.
I would be like, "I'm
Like,
too far gone now. I've got to stay with you," because what do you mean just go back? Are you talking about it's just, like, over all that patch of woods right
did
there?
you leave some breadcrumbs for me? Because I don't know where I'm going.
What do you mean just go back? They give me a break.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And there's, like, that weird line from Natalie where she's like, "No, I'm sorry, you can't take the rifle," and I was like, "Bitch, she never asked." Was there a line of dialogue cut or something? Because that didn't make any sense to me.
I mean, I no, I guess if it was cut, it was cut, and but for Natalie to immediately, I don't know if that rifle is like her thing, like for her to be doing things with Travis or whatnot. But I no, like Ty, they never asked for that, so
Mm-mm.
I was kind of like, why are you getting so like
Yeah. And
about it?
I don't think Ty was gonna ask for it. Like,
No,
seems kind of I feel like if Natalie was gonna go, she would probably bring the rifle with her, but she's staying behind. So, I
right?
don't know, I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of the River of Blood, though, I really like how, and this is something I don't know if you would notice on first watch, but Lottie's sort of rise to power, if we can call it that, is like very nicely, subtly, quietly being built in the background. You know, during this discussion of should we stay or should we go, Laura Lee is like, "What do you think, Lottie?" And Van's like, "Excuse me? What
Mhm.
the fuck do we care?" But there's that little seed being, left or planted. And then the whole thing with her saying, "I see a river of blood, the smoke." You can tell that Van and the other girls are really clinging on to that, especially when the compass stops working. I think that that is just a really nice detail that's sort of really quiet and in the background.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, I will tell you, I am so into Charlotte. Like I would if she has a cult. Yes, I government named her. I full named her.
Mhm,
If
I
she
love
had
when
a
you do
cult,
that.
I would totally be in it. I don't care because, like, I would be like, "You tell me what my day is gonna look like today." I love to be prepared, okay? So, if you're telling me there's gonna be a river of blood and, some red smoke, I'm probably gonna stay in bed, but thank you for the heads up. So
Especially if she predicted prom queen and some sort of teacher scandal. I'm
oh,
on
yeah,
Lottie's side.
s full. And also there's something and I wanted I tried to do some Googling and then I fully realized why I don't Google anymore because I don't know how to ask Google the correct words. Like when I type something out, I type it the way I'm thinking it, and Google's like, "Did you mean this?" And I'm like,
Oh.
"That's nowhere near what I was trying to ask for." But I wanted to know, like, what bone is that didn't
Oh,
burn? Like, is
yes.
there a bone in the
Right.
bodies that don't
I meant to
burn?
look that up as well. Yeah.
Because I'm just interested to know what part of the body that bone is in and what protection
Yes.
she was associating that with. And while we're on the bone, um, she did not tell Van to give that bone to anyone else. And I'm sorry, but I think what happened to Van is because she did not have that bone.
Oh, I
Did
agree.
that Ty had that bone.
Yes. Totally agree.
Because no one else got attacked but Van.
Right. And like Lottie gave it specifically to Van.
Right.
Yes.
So, I was very, very interested in this, and I really wish that I knew a right way. I also don't wanna end up on any, like, lists where I'm Googling, like, "What bone doesn't burn in the body?" I
Because
don't
that's the
want
one that I need to put in acid just to get rid of the evidence.
because that's gonna be the tricky one for me when I need to
Yeah.
get my
Mhm.
business done,
Imma
so
need to make that into some sort of decoration and, you know.
oh my goodness. But yeah, so I fully believe
And
that's the reason why Van is the only one attacked.
poor Van, I mean, the close up on her face is just gruesome.
That
I feel so bad for her.
so bad. Like, I don't
She got
not
burnt up in a plane. She got attacked by wolves,
same I feel like it's the same side of her face too. Like, I'm just
quite
like,
possibly,
how
yeah.
much more can this side of her body take? Like, I can't stand the thought of going to a dentist. When I saw her teeth exposed, I was like, "Bleh," like her little tooth, like there. I was like,
I
oh my god,
know.
I can't. Like, I could not imagine.
No,
And
that's a
yeah,
brutal wound. I don't even think you can call it a wound. It's like I don't
gash.
know, a
I don't
gash, yeah.
know, but and I
Oof.
feel so bad. Like that dog, excuse me, that wolf was like fucking going to town on her, man. Like dragging
Yep.
her, sloshing her around, and I was like, ah, God.
But wolves
See,
are afraid of humans. Thanks,
I,
Ty.
I'm so glad that you said that because also I'm like, all right, if I was sitting in this group of girls, I would have been like, shut the fuck up. The wolves are not scared of
It is
humans.
interesting how they just I mean, I wonder if it was just like a comfort thing where they were like, "We're gonna go with this."
But also, like, for Ty, if I'm still going in my light of thought about her, like, something about her and wolves, like, for her to say, "Oh, they're not scared of you because maybe
Mm,
you have a connection with them, but these other gals sitting here with you are open targets."
yeah. Yeah, good point.
I don't know. Like, what how would she even I'm nitpicking too much,
I
I
I
think,
think
because
I think she honestly said it to try to keep things in check. I don't think she
sure.
knows a goddamn thing about wolves, but
I know. Thank you for
yeah.
reeling me back. You got to get the net on me because you know I was fixing to go in the deep end.
Well, I do. I think she was just trying to keep everybody in check, and then, her and Van made a good team because Van went right back into the storytelling of while you were sleeping, and, like, that was a really good first night. It's too bad that things went so far south the second night, but
Yeah,
yeah.
before we move on from that, though, I've just got something underlined in my notes. When Ty is cutting her hair, this is
Mhm.
so me to be this nitpicky. Why do you need a basin of clean water for your hair to fall into?
What a
This
waste.
is unnecessary.
What a waste.
I
Ugh.
mean, I would still drink it. Like, it's not like it's full wasteful. Well, it's just hair. But I'm
I
just
know.
sitting here
You could
thinking if
probably,
you're
like, filter it out, like, even with your
sure.
fingers or something, but
But, like, if you're worried about your supplies, ma'am, that was hella reckless of you
mhm.
because you were just cutting your hair straight into a fresh water basin, okay?
Thanks a lot, Ty.
Wow, hella rude.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Okay.
She was just like, "Fuck these girls that are staying here.
I know, she's like, "I will ruin your water supply. How about that?
You wanna come with me? Here you go, bitch.
Have some" yeah, put it oh, okay, I'm
Something to
sorry.
remember me
I
by."
was gonna say a really like, like you're pulling a little hair out of your tooth, like, later on. You're like, "What is
Oh, I mean, that
this?"
is what I thought about when you said I would still drink the water, because that's no, thank you.
Oh god.
All right.
Okay.
So, yeah, so let's talk about Shauna and Jackie and Javi, because he just kinda fits into that part. I went from feeling, I feel like I do this a lot with Jackie now, but I went from feeling actually bad for her at the beginning of the episode to once again, fuck you, Jackie. You keep making the wrong decisions, because I've definitely been in that situation where your friend is keeping something from you. You can tell that they're keeping something from you. And in them doing so, it makes you feel crazy because you're like, "No, I like, how I would know this," or like, what's happening? Like, I feel like something's going on. I'm being told that nothing is going on." It's like micro gaslighting almost, even
Mhm.
though, like, I don't think Shauna is, like, trying to make Jackie feel crazy, but I've been in that situation. I know how hurtful it can be. But bitch, stay out of her journal. Like, no matter what has gone on, Shauna is also very much in the wrong. But that does
Uh,
not make it cool for Jackie to be reading that journal.
I'm
Mm-mm.
telling you right now. Okay, so just like what you just said, like my heart, my cold black heart was melting at this scene between the two of them. Listen, when I was that age, I had a best friend. I felt like I felt like I shared more with her than she shared with me,
Right.
and I just it didn't make me feel crazy, but I always felt like it kind of made me feel like I'm not good enough to know
Yes.
like the
Yeah.
things that are on the same level that I'm telling you. I understood that and that moment between the two of them, like it melted me. And then when I saw that she had that journal, I was like, back to a black heart when it comes to Jackie.
It's all frozen over again now.
I mean, I know Jackie. It's a,
Oh, should I have said frozen over in
oh
regards to the
no,
Jackie thing?
let it go, let it go. No, um, but there's something interesting also because I wish. Okay, uh, when HBO, I know this is on Showtime, but when HBO did the series Watchmen,
Mhm.
they would release at every episode. They would update like notes or something that had to do with like what the Watchmen were dealing with through
Okay.
law enforcement or whatever through a website, right? It was
Okay.
so cool because you got like these case files, you know, and things like that. I wish Showtime would release something from Shauna's journals, and let me tell you why
That would be so cool.
okay, it would be cool just because it would be cool, but I mainly want to know. This is so terrible of me. I want to know if she wrote in detail the first time that she had sex with Jeff. And let me tell you why. Because she's sitting here and she's like, oh, it was with Randy, you know, and it was this. And obviously, Jackie's kind of like not buying what she's saying. But the details that Shauna has come up with, either she's just really good at lying on the spot, or she's taking the real events between she and Jeff and just putting Randy in it. But I was
Mm.
like, not only can he not like finger bang, he is also a minute man. I
Yeah.
mean, she was
Yeah.
like
He's a
3.
3-minute man, but
But I like, would Jackie be out there crying if she was reading in detail about it or it lasted for 3 minutes? Like, I would be like, okay, wait a minute. There's been a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. Now I'm mad that she's cheating with him, but if it's not good,
right? Yeah. Woo, dodged a bullet.
woo, were those happy tears? No, I'm just kidding. They were very bad. I shouldn't make light of that, but
I do want to know what's in that journal, but there's so I mean that is such a good that it's better marketing than watching a fucking candle burn for an hour. Let me tell you what, to
yeah.
just give us snippets of Shauna's journal. And
Oh,
some
there
of
will
it
be
could have been
texts
from before the plane crash and then like a little bit, you know, like as the months go by, just to get little snippets would be very cool.
because that's the only like I'm telling you, Showtime, call us. We've got great ideas for you because
Actually,
that
don't
was.
call us. Text us first because we will not pick
Oh,
up a number
that's
that
right.
we don't
Excuse me.
recognize.
Uh, that's me. Round of applause for you catching it. Text us first, and then we'll
Please. Yeah.
include your number, like a business phone, and we'll get back to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
But I would be so interested if it was like just a bunch of flashes of a journal. I would be so into that where I would be pausing, trying to read, and like, when did this happen?
Yes.
Like if that was something because her journals are, and I know they're from the point of view of Shauna, but they're the only thing that's going to give us any kind of idea, you know, about like the feeling and what was happening during that time if we're not watching the actual scene. You know what I mean? So,
Yep. Yeah. That's a very cool idea.
but Jeff,
Showtime.
you could still get it. We've just got some things to work on.
Jeff
Okay.
obviously grew up and got better at things, but
Did he?
well, he
Opening
looks
scene,
better.
or you know, do we not remember the scene in the first
First time we see
episode?
Shauna. Yeah. 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 Oof. Well, he looks good though.
Well, I don't know. If you're trying to buy an armoire, maybe it gets better then. So
Maybe he's a really good sales guy. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Love
maybe
to see
that's
his
what really,
pitch.
yeah, like, that's it for him.
Okay. So we should also talk about Javi just really quickly, going through Shauna's stuff looking for the knife. Do we think there's a possibility that because he did ask for, or he didn't ask for it, but Shauna has given him pages from a journal before. Do we think he possibly went back looking for more pages, saw stuff in Shauna's journal, and like gave it to Jackie? Or like did Jackie orchestrate Javi getting the journals or something? Like who found out the hiding spot? Like how was that?
This is a
How did they
main,
do that?
yeah, this is a main, uh, not concern, but a main question
Yeah.
from me as well because it's was she just not, I wouldn't say careless, but what, like, had she just gotten done maybe journaling and hadn't put it back in its spot yet? Like, that's how Hobby could have come across. obviously he came across it. It wasn't like up in the hiding spot. I don't think he
Right.
would be resourceful enough. I don't see Javi being the one to go searching out for a journal. Now, did he say something about it? I don't know behind the scenes. We don't really know what happens with Javi. I'm very interested to see where that goes. But how did Jackie know where she was hiding it? Also, I
Like,
could have
has Shauna hidden stuff in a spot like that in her own home, and Jackie just being best friends, they just sort of know that stuff about each other?
potentially, but also when we pulled away from that shot of her going to sleep, there was a book in the rafters. Am I wrong about that? Like, did she put something up there to like give Shauna a way to
Oh, I didn't
check?
notice.
I just I there had to be a reason that it was pulling back, but I thought I saw a book, just maybe not in the right spot. I don't know, but I could be wrong about all of that. I mean, regardless, Jackie got helped of it, and Jackie, oh, the bridges burn now, baby. Okay,
Oh, yeah, no, that's burned. It's bad news.
bad news bears.
Bad news. Also, I'm kind of annoyed with the like, oh, I'm working on an art project type thing, and the fact that Javi says that in the same episode that Shauna then reiterates to Adam, "You're an artist." The writers knew exactly what they were doing with this Adam Javi bullshit.
I
So fuck them.
know. So you know what? Yeah, like I don't like to be fucked
Like, I
around with
love
like
you, and
that.
you're writing a
Okay.
great show, and I
Yeah.
want, you to keep doing the things, but, like, also fuck you.
Oh my gosh. But he made a little wolf for her.
Yeah, what does that
That's what I'm
mean?
saying. The wolves were heavy. The
Mm.
wolves were heavy.
All
Um,
right, you ready to go to the present day plot
oh, yes, let's
and
do.
quality time?
Well, before we
I
do that,
yeah,
should we go to the present day with us? With
with how you can have more from
I,
this damn fine duo?
I mean, it's not journaling, but it's something.
It's not journaling, but we do, have video journals sort of on our
Blogs.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've posted some written pieces before, and
True.
Mells has posted some video journal type things. Get ready with me. Let's talk about books. Let's talk about adaptations. What am I
Yeah.
getting at here? I'm saying that if you go to patreon.com/damnfinetv, you can see more of this damn fine duo. You can get more of our content for as little as $5 a month. That's
I
it.
mean,
That's
cheaper than
like
gas
one
station
coffee.
liquor.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think it probably is cheaper than gas station liquor.
Okay. All right. And something that is totally free, like so free, dude, is to rate and review us.
So free.
So if we're leaving you, I don't know, howling at the moon,
Ooh.
why don't you rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform? Sprinkle, dangle, jingle, jangle, all those stars our way. We like 5. We'll take whatever you've got. We love to hear from you. So please take time to do that as well.
Yes, please. And then another way you can find us is on Instagram at DamnFineTV. You can find me also at DamnFineWitch.
And you can find me at Superficial Mells.
And I was going to say one other thing. I was going to say, what was I going to say? I was going to say, if you're not on social media and if you're not interested in joining Patreon, you could also just tell a friend about the show. That would be cool.
That's true.
Or maybe you like YouTube. We're also on YouTube.
Mhm.
Do you know
Yeah.
that? Just look up Damn Fine TV. Right on the YouTube.
We're on the YouTubes. And I think if you're going to tell a friend about the situation that you're seeing us, it's better to tell them and for them not to read about it in a journal.
I agree. You don't imagine if your best friend found out about this show from your journal and you had never told them about it. That's bad news bears.
Yes, the betrayal.
The betrayal.
Okay.
No, avoid that. Tell your friends now.
Now. Yes.
Go. We'll wait. Okay, thanks for coming back. Great.
Yes. Okay.
Alrighty, so let's talk about the quality time that Nat, Ty, and Shauna are spending together. How did I not notice all of the animosity? between Nat and the other two because it is so blatantly obvious this time around.
Oh, it's
I don't know if I
dripping.
just like forgot it. It just like wasn't, on like just not that important part of the story for me, but like it's whew, it's heavy.
People are stressed, Bradley.
Correct.
Like, maybe that's what I was thinking the first time around, like why they were like biting each other's heads off, no pun intended. But it's really obvious and it's just dripping. And it's just so odd. Like Shauna, Nat, sure. Like we so far don't see anything with them for the present day, but we know that Ty's funded her, Nat's
Mhm.
rehab visits, and obviously she's in contact with Natalie. I, I'm gonna go as far to say, out of anyone we've seen from our 96 crew in the present, like she's got that relationship with Natalie, but where and why and how, I know that Nat she just is a bit of a rager. Like we know that. Like
A bit.
well, yeah, yeah. I mean, she tucks her shirt into fishnets that can't be comfortable. Like we gotta, like, there's things there. But I I'm glad I wasn't a fourth wheel in that because
Ooh.
I would have been like, "Ooh,
And
boy."
I still just don't know how to feel about adult Natalie because I just really go back and forth. I really appreciated what Ty said in this episode of like, what did we do to get our families? Like, we were all in this situation together. It worked out that we got lucky, that we got, like I said, we got these families. Who does Natalie really have? Natalie kind of has nobody. And if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here. That's a big piece of info. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here.
Mhm.
So I loved hearing that from Ty, but it actually made me like Ty more than it made me like Natalie
Yes.
just because of hearing that perspective from her. But it does help me. I don't know. Obviously, Natalie is struggling. And,
Right.
like, I can't hate on her for having addiction issues and for having PTSD and for struggling with stuff, but
Sure.
so much of her response to things in life are just, like, really defensive and petty and immature, and it just, like, really gets under my skin, especially later on with Kevin, where she immediately turns on that defensive mode and is like, "Your high school crush is pathetic." It's like, "Girl, you know you're hurting in this moment, but you're
Yeah.
turning the defensive on because you don't wanna get hurt." But, like, I don't know. I just don't know what to do about her.
Yeah, she's too impulsive for my taste. I
Yeah.
mean, I love I like and I do love adult Natalie because
Like, she's
I
a good character for
sure,
sure.
but the impulsivity, I mean, it's a little too reckless for me. So, in my
Yeah.
taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's hard to get on board with.
Right. Right.
But yeah, but that definitely made me really appreciate Ty's perspective and because at first I was with Shauna and I was like, "Yeah, why are you paying for this? You are kind of enabling, but it's also like if you have the money and you can do something to help somebody, like why wouldn't you?" You know?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, and then I guess, we kind of talked about the whole chase sequence up front and how exciting that was and just the way that it slows down as the glitter is going everywhere, which is obviously like an important detail, the
Yeah.
glitter, but it just like I got chills watching that glitter fly everywhere. It was so great.
The the whole okay. Oh God. Let's see. Where do I start with this? Because
I mean, it's
I
so much funnier knowing who it is and who's running around. Like,
yes, but the fact that we know who it is, and then also that it is Shauna who has, oh God, there's so much. I mean, the duffel bag Callie
yes.
made for Jeff, right?
Yes.
And then the way that she knows how to junk it up and hide the tracking device, right? Um, she doesn't know who the blackmailer is, but it's almost like she knew all the ways. He did end up dumping, obviously, the tracking device, but it wasn't the first thought in his mind that there would be a tracking device in there,
Right.
I guess.
Yes.
But this whole, like, aside from their chats and everything like that, just when it was go time and it was time for them to, like, chase, the whole thing was just great because they they leaned on each other, they took cues, and they took action off of each other, and that was
Yes.
great.
I mean,
But
you can tell that they've been through shit together and that when it is
yes.
go time, it is go time. You
And
leave all that, like, gas station liquor bonding in the car, and you get to
yes.
business.
And I love it that it's like, "Okay, it's go time, it's moving," and then Shauna's like, no, man, I shouldn't drive, no." Like, that whole
Because
like,
if
it
I
was
die,
just
we'll never find out.
we'll never find out if we die.
Yeah, that was great.
Like, it
Melanie
was great
Linsky's, like,
humor.
slight tipsy acting was very good.
Very good,
Yeah.
very good. Yeah.
Um, what else about this? Oh, this was where one of those lines came up. So, when they're pissed off at her later because she has this gun, right? Which, like, they didn't agree to bring a gun to this whole thing.
Ooh.
And she says, oh, Nat says, as if we haven't done worse before in
Uh-huh.
terms of like worse than murdering somebody. But then Shauna says, don't drag us into your endless pit of guilt.
Ugh. So many things.
Yeah, I thought that was great though.
So many things, but I mean, like, and this is where but the impulsivity with Natalie is where it hurt, like, I wanna say it hurts me because I want her to do better, but
Yeah.
even though maybe she didn't know that all of those rounds had to be accounted for, maybe she didn't know, but I mean, like, why would she even think that it would be a good idea? And, well, I guess we could talk about this when we talk about her and Kevin later, but to even say that she took the gun to fuck around with it, like, that,
Yeah. I mean,
like,
we can
if
just talk about them now.
well, I was just gonna say, like, in the moment of, the adrenaline, the chasing, like, wanting to know who's blackmailing you, I understand the frustration, but what if you had also fucking killed him?
Yes. What
Like,
then? Yes. That's
what worse could you have done than killing someone? I mean,
right.
like, you
Yeah, this
know?
isn't the woods where there is no law and order. Like this
Right.
is, and I don't mean law and order, boom, boom. I mean like real world law
Yes.
and order. Like
There is no Law& and Order Boom Boom either,
boom, boom.
unfortunately. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean it's interesting to note that they've apparently done worse. But yeah, and it's frustrating I think for us knowing that this whole thing really has nothing to do with Travis's death. It's even harder to get on board with what Nat's doing because it's like but for her it's like of course she's thinking that. Why wouldn't she think that? So I can't fault her either, but it's still difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was another line earlier when I think, they're putting the stuff into the bag, and Natalie is complaining about how long it took them all to get there. Shauna says something about, "We can't all just sneak out a window," and
Oh,
then says,
yes.
"Oh, I didn't mean it like that." What does that mean?
Well, what does that mean? Because then she also says, well, she tries to do it later with Adam too, where she's like, "Go out the window." So
Yeah.
all I could think of, well, for that moment was like her seeing Jeff come out of Jackie's window that one morning.
Mm.
But when it comes to the
Right?
girl,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what is
Because
that?
Shauna definitely, like, checked herself and was like, "I didn't mean it like that." Like, there's something there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah, so to continue talking about Natalie, I mean, I kinda said everything I wanted to say about her and Kevin. You're right. I do genuinely feel like she didn't know that she would have to or that he would have to account for every round, but it's still a bad idea to take a cop's gun. Like, it's also like you're just continuing to use this person, which sucks, and then you go on the defensive and tell him that he's the shitty one. Like, I don't know. But then, you know, I feel so much for her in the 96 plotline.
I know. I
She's
know.
such a underneath it all, she is a really sweet person.
Yeah.
The way that she just, like, cuts the shit and says, "Travis, please don't go. I don't want you to go." I really admired her in that moment.
Mhm.
I think it would be so easy for teenagers, for adults, not to show their real feelings, not to be upfront, not to make themselves vulnerable, and yet she did, and she got
Yeah.
what she wanted from it, and it was great.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
you
also,
know?
I mean, the way like, I thought she handled the situation, with Travis as well, and
Oh,
his
she
little
was so
whoopsie
much
daisy.
kinder to him than he
Then
deserved.
well, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And I know that Travis has his demons, and
for
he's
sure.
he's definitely not as, I guess not his dad just died, which I feel is his like, much like Natalie had the issue with her father, and then he did die, and she's had some time in between that, like, Travis hasn't is not there yet because his dad just died in the plane crash, right? So, I mean, like, he's got a lot of ground to cover that Natalie's already done, but she was so yeah, like, she didn't deserve to be walked out on, but I also liked how she didn't lash out at him either, like, after he started, kind of being a prick to her, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. That's the thing. I really admire Natalie's ability to be vulnerable and honest and
mhm,
kind with
and it's
Travis and like
but that Natalie is not the present Natalie, so, like, whatever has happened
yeah. And
yeah,
fair enough. There's a lot of gaps that still need to be
right,
filled in. So whatever, but and I feel for both of them because like the sexual pressure of being a teenager or when you're a teenager is just such a fucking nightmare. I mean,
it really
ugh.
is.
I know we've already talked about that in a previous episode, but it's just it keeps coming back for these two, unfortunately, and it does suck. So
Oh, also, while we're talking of sucking, I like to listen now with my noise canceling,
that was
headphones.
just a funny way to say that. Like, actually, I've tried listening and I like it.
Well, I like it, but I started this with Twin Peaks. I've started doing the second rewatch with the headphones because I wanna just hear because I feel like
hmm
Yellowjackets is a lot like Twin Peaks when it comes to the sounds and the
Oh yeah.
yeah. So, but I'm telling you, there was major sucking sounds, and I was like, "Wow, Bob, wow." But then when he jumps up to get ready, I'm like, your pants are still on, son. Like,
I
what
know
are
that
we
happened
doing?"
very quickly. Yeah. I do
Sorry.
feel like he probably only ever had his boxers around his ankles though.
Well,
But anyways,
but
you're
anyways,
correct.
there was a lot there was a good 45 seconds of lots of nice sucking sounds where I was like, "Whoa, wow."
Nice sucking sounds. That should have been your name.
God, why didn't I think of that? Oh, boy.
Well, you know what? Speaking of your name, let's talk about Misty.
Oh.
This girl is so off her fucking rocker. The fact that she is watching while you were sleeping all these years later. I mean, it's a great transition from the past to the present day, but it just further emphasizes like how stuck Misty
Yes.
is. Yeah.
100%. That's what I was just about to say. And how these moments, uh, Ty and Van or whoever, like they may not even think about this, but the fact that it's all these years later and
Yes.
Misty is watching the movie while she's just casually injecting fentanyl into some chocolates to send to Jessica's dad. I'm
Yeah.
like, really and honestly, if she wasn't so off her rocker, I would kind of want to low-key be on Missy's level because she don't give a fuck, man.
Oh,
Like,
when she's like, this is fun or whatever she says, and then just like smacks the shit out of Jessica. That's hilarious.
I mean, honestly, like that, I just did an ounce of that when like talking to someone if they got my order wrong at the restaurant. You know
Right?
what
Like she is so unfazed. And Jessica plays a good game. Like Jessica's obviously, she knows what she's doing. And I don't know if she's ever been actually held hostage before, but she's seen some shit. She's been through some shit. She
yeah,
knows how to talk a good game. She doesn't show any of that fear until Misty goes upstairs. And even when Misty is threatening her dad, she's very cool, calm, collected, says, "Okay, here's what I know." But
yeah.
she's not like begging. She's not the only time that we see her kind of I don't even know if it's like being more vulnerable when she's screaming for Misty to come downstairs. But to me,
Oh
that
yeah.
almost felt like more aggressive than begging.
That was
So
that was like, "Get your fucking ass down here." Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
yes. But I mean, but even for all of that, Misty is unfazed, unbothered. gives that girl a smack and says, "I'll be back later." Like,
I mean, just the fact that Missy's like, "Huh, well, what happened to the last person that held you hostage?" She just can call her on whether it's
yes.
bullshit or not. It's
Mhm.
just that, God, Missy is just anyway, Missy's
Yeah.
great. I
Yeah,
love
she's
her.
great.
But I will tell you, 96 Misty, she was feeling her moment.
Ben,
100
don't try
Ben,
to talk me out of it.
like, she saw, like, the Travis and Nat, and she was like,
Yes.
"I'm fixing to make that
Yeah.
my moment with Ben. Don't dare talk me out of this." And he's like, right, you're very brave, Misty." God, I love it. I'm sorry. I mean, I know she's unhinged, but it makes such great it just makes a great storyline for this
It
character.
does, and I loved the way that they showed her, like you said, she's watching through the window. She's eyeing everything up. She's looking for her moment. She's, like, making that last minute, decision to be, "This is it. This is where I can grab the reins and I can make that big statement," and, like, it's so good how they set it up.
Absolutely.
Ugh,
Absolutely.
that was one of my favorite bits too, and Ben continues, of course, to be, I think, very, protective of himself and being like, "Well, let me play along. Here we go. Just another scene with Misty."
I mean, that hug was
Yeah.
so obviously it's meant to make you uncomfortable. I was laughing through the whole thing because it was
Yes.
just nothing but a face full of crutches from
Yes.
Missy, and I was like, "This can't be comfortable, child."
It's so good. Um, but yeah, I do find it interesting what we find out about what happened with Travis.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Just the fact that his bank account was cleared after his death. So
Mhm.
where did that money go? And not that not that what Nat, Ty, and Shauna are doing isn't important. Like, they were being blackmailed. They had to, like, sort that out. But, like, Misty's doing the real work.
Yeah.
Misty's getting the real answers, you know?
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean, in any way, any means
by
necessary.
any means necessary, yes. All right, well, I guess all that's left is Shauna and her men's. So I so this is kind of what I was talking about in my overall thoughts, but I cannot stand Adam this time around. And I loved him on first watch. But this whole thing of him grabbing Shauna's
Huh?
arm, turning her back around and saying, "There's a part of you that wants to blow your whole life up." I wanted her to give him a Misty style smack in the face.
I
Like,
wanted her to knock him out.
Adam,
I
fuck off.
I am I was shocked and horrified at what happened to Adam the first time around. This time I'm counting down. I have a counter on my phone to the
Yeah.
countdown of his demise where
I'm
I'm like,
so
I'm
over
ready for
him
you
this
to go.
time.
I'm ready for you.
Yeah.
The audacity of this boy, first of all. I'm not even gonna call him a man, but this boy to roll up, just be fucking outside of her house, like, creep much, and then you're trying to have your moment with her at 4 a.m. in the neighborhood. Like, what? I don't
Mm-mm.
I
The
am
whole thing
not
is
here
so
for it.
messy. I'm not here for it either. And I think it's a good misdirect because, of course, where they're going with this, like, why was he out and about at 4 a.m.? What had he just been up to? Like, what's she going to find in the closet that's going to,
Yeah.
lead breadcrumbs somewhere else or leave glitter crumbs somewhere else? But,
No.
like, I guess and I'm kind of shocked because of how much I did enjoy his character on first watch, but I'm just like, ugh, no, thank you.
I'm reading a book. It's called The Final Girl Support Group. It's very
Oh,
good.
I've seen this. Actually, it's on my list at my library.
I have read everything by this author so far. I fucking love him. But there's a lot of mention of, like, fanboys and, like
Mm.
and so the whole time I'm watching this, though, I'm like, "Oh, you're such a fanboy. Like, get away from her, okay?"
It's so typical, like, I feel like we've seen this story, and I know that, like, I've had girlfriends that have dealt with this in real life too, of, like, that guy who's like, "Oh, man, whatever, no games, like, let's just have fun, no labels, like, whatever, let's see where it goes," and then it's like, the minute that the woman plays along with that and doesn't want you all the time,
Mhm.
turn the tables. I think
Yeah.
Shauna's right, like, he did not like being out of control.
No. She's well, she's absolutely right. But then she turns around and, like, I don't know. I'm like, Shauna, I gotta get, like, it's too much right here. Like,
And
that interaction outside should have just been enough to send him on his way.
yes.
But,
Exactly. And I do feel for her because she definitely thinks that Jeff is cheating on her. So there's probably part of her that's like, fuck it, you know. I might as well get mine. Adam is a good-looking dude, so
oh,
like
yeah.
why
No
not, you
shade.
know?
Yeah.
Like I just think it was such a turn off to be like, you know that you blah blah blah, you want me, you want to blow it up. I would have been like, get in your car and
Right.
get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck away from me.
Don't tell me what I want.
Jeff, I just bless him. I guess that's all I should say. I mean, he just rolls in and he's like, oh, late delivery, whatever. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to take a shower. And then he's like, eggs sound good. I'm like, Jeff,
He has
like,
not gotten good at, spinning a yarn because like, oh, there was an early delivery coming, so I figured I'd stay. What do you mean? How early is the delivery coming? And how late were you there that it made sense to just stay overnight?
and Jeff,
Not adding up.
like, let's put it all on the table here. You had a secret relationship with Shauna in high school. Have you not learned now that she's going to be super suspicious? Like, I know that she's not giving him anything for him to think that, but like, what hasn't clicked up here of your relationship with your wife the entire time that you've known her, basically, that you don't think, oh shit, she like if even if this is not what you're doing, that would be what she would think. Like, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
this whole inventory and this like early delivery stuff from him, I'm like, you can't come up with something better than this, sir.
And the thing is, he just, what was it, last episode, said to Jackie's parents how intelligent and brilliant Shauna is.
That's what I mean. Like, you know who you're dealing with.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff. I think you
Oh,
were right when you just said bless him,
just bless him. Like, I
Bless him.
can't even bless him.
That's it.
Oh
Oof.
man, what a great episode, though.
Yeah, really fun episode. And I feel like from here on out, it's just going to be banger after banger. So,
Oh, I cannot wait.
yeah.
Can't wait to get banged.
Oh.
No. All right. Did you have anything else?
No, I think good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's all for this time, I've got a goth daddy to kick out of my bed.
Ooh. And I've got to go find an asshole covered in glitter.